Hey there.
Hey,
Good
Everybody.
morning.
good morning.
I wanted to have, well, evening, afternoon, depending on wherever you are in the world or what time you watch this. I wanted to bring on a couple members of our coaching team here at the Hunter Group because we've been talking about some of the most common things we hear, and I thought it could make a difference for you. So I want to introduce to you Julie. And it's Julie Hunter, who is my sister, and this is
Good morning.
Relis.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Yeah. I said good morning, and I was like, "Oh, whoops, we're all over the world here." So sorry, whoopsie, my bad. So we have the amazing opportunity to we speak to about 150 people a month. And we do breakthrough sessions that we offer for free to help people come up with an insight onto what's not working and where they want to go. And then so that we can help them come up with craft a game plan on what's actually going to get them there. And something unique starts to happen when you speak to that many people. So often we think that the challenges or issues or problems or hurdles that we deal with are personal to us. But what we start to see over time as we're doing these calls with so many people is that there are predictable themes that arise. And so we thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we shared with you some of these things? So one of the things we wanted to do is bust up some of the myths that we see that really get in people's ways. And the one that we want to discuss today is the myth that working harder will get you to the finish line. So it's something we were speaking about over the past couple of days and realizing like there's a very common thing that people say when they speak to us, and they're like, oh, when they start to realize what's not working and for, in fact, how long it hasn't been working, or they've been stuck in this intractable kind of way. And they'll say, oh, well, I just need to work harder. And there's an Einstein quote that I think encapsulates it brilliantly, which says, you can't solve, I'm going to paraphrase, sorry, Einstein, but my bad. You can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. So it's something we hear all the time, and we wanted to discuss it. So, what people think is, oh, if I'm stuck, I just need to do more of what I was already doing, because the answer lies in doing more. But there's a client of ours, Evelyn, who recently, just amazing woman. She recently we did a Facebook Live here with her. And when she came to us, she was working, she opened up, she's got a very successful business, ice cream shop and business that she does ice cream cakes and in the Bay Area of California. And she said she started her own business. She wasn't sure how it went. She hadn't done that before. It was her first go, and it became very successful overnight. And she was like, I need to spend 12 hours a day here. No, I need to spend 13 hours a day here. Well, that's not cutting it. I should spend 14 hours a day here. By the time we spoke, she said, I got to a place that I was crying for days, and I'm not a crier. And she was spending at that point at least 17 hours a day in the shop. And she'd go shop to home, to shop to home. She'd go to sleep and go to work, and go to sleep and go to work. And she said by the time we actually spoke, she said, I was hating my life that I had to get up and go to the shop in the morning. I'd become a slave to my business that was supposed to be a joy. And she's a perfect example of the fact that you really can't solve a problem with the same mind, same thinking that created it. So I wanted to hear from you two. What has your experience been of this? Like Pericles, what do you see?
Well, I think it's a great I think it's a great question, and I think the Einstein quote really speaks to it directly. And one of the things that I've noticed are people who I speak with, and they say, "Well, I've been in therapy for a long time, and I just need to do more therapy." And so I'll ask them, "Well, how long have you been in therapy?" "Well, 15 years, 10 years, sometimes longer." Or they'll say, I just need to find the right podcast. I love listening to podcasts. My friend told me about this podcast, or they told me about this one, or this seminar. I'm going to just, do this. And so I'll ask, well, how long have you been doing seminars, or how long have you been doing podcasts? And again, it's the same question, or the same answer is, well, 5 years, 10 years. And so when we start to look a little bit more, what I've seen is the pattern of it becomes more about doing more of exactly what they've been doing, and they're still not producing the result that they're looking for. So it really does become that cycle of, if I just do more, it's not in the context of working harder at a job, but it's working harder at improving myself, or working harder at getting the result that I want, and they're still not getting the result. So it's that hamster wheel of faster, 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 more, 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 but I'm still not getting the result that I'm getting. So
Right.
It really does show up as that same thing that you're talking about, in terms of, 15 hours a day of work, 16 hours a day, I'm like 17 hours a day, and I'm still not getting the results that I want.
This next podcast will hold this secret to life.
Exactly right. Yeah.
It reminds me, Pericles, of Rebecca, another client of ours who did another Facebook Live here. She's just amazing. We did one really recently here in the group. And what Rebecca said was, when she first came to me, she was a podcast queen. I mean, Rebecca actually has her own podcast. She's phenomenal. But she said that she got to a place where she started taking work home with her, and she said, I would fall asleep every night. Like, I just got to put more hours in. I've got to do more of whatever it was. So she was like falling asleep at 2 a.m. answering email with either her laptop laying on top of her physically, or phone in hand, or, she would like, I'll listen to another podcast on the way to work, and I listen to one on the way home, and I do one on my walk and when I exercise. And she got clear that more information, more on that front, wasn't going to solve it either. And you make such a good point, like that. More of whatever I've been doing is somehow, like, working on it more means I'm going to somehow fix it in some way. Really good, Pericles. Julie, what do you see, like, when you're on these calls?
Yeah, it's so interesting to think about this, right? So, like Rebecca, she looks at it as though, like, I'm alone in this, right? That's her experience. Evelyn, the same kind of thing. I just got to go for it. And it's the same thing with the people that I speak with on the phone, where they're having this experience of this aloneness. And let me explain a little bit what I mean by that. It's like this sense of having to do more, having to invest more time, having to work harder, longer, more intensely, even spend more time just thinking harder about something, is just so ingrained in our thinking, and we can't even see it. Yet what we find ourselves doing is just trying to find a way to, like, stuff more stuff into our lives. Like, I just gotta stuff more shit in there, and I'm going to make this work. And we don't even recognize it. We don't especially recognize it. In a way, it's almost like a human condition. I don't care where you are in the world. It's like there's this phenomena of, I've just got to do more. And furthermore, I've got to do it on my own. Like, there's this something that's in this badge of, like, the busy badge, right? Or I don't need anyone, or I don't need anything. I can make this on my own. And that there is some sort of pedestal you can put yourself up on, even though you're not achieving that thing that you want to achieve, right?
Yeah. I'm not needy. I'm not dependent on anybody. Yeah. I'm not a burden.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was thinking about this morning quite a bit, and this theory of I'll just do it on my own, and I'll just fight harder to make it work, is literally having us be harder, be less loving, be less accepting. And, we look at that, outwardly, but most importantly of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just feel like a failure
Yeah.
because
Yes.
that harder work, we just can't seem to find a way to do it, right?
Yeah. So often when I speak to people, they're like, I can't believe I haven't figured this out yet. What's wrong with me?
Right.
And then
Right.
naturally, if you're trying to tackle it yourself and you're unable to, and one of the things we talk about in our work in our program, Break Free Formula, is that you're not able to figure it out by yourself by design. That's the way, that's the way
Right.
it's supposed to be. And if you don't have a different way in, you'll never figure it out on your own. But people's self-confidence and self-worth take a hit. Understandably, if you think that your worthiness comes from figuring out on your own and solving your own problem, and yet it's designed to be veiled from your view, and you can't figure it out, normally it's understandable that a person would say, well, what in the heck's wrong with me? Oh, Julie, we miss you.
Oh, we lost Julie.
The interwebs, here we go, right? So, okay, you're back. I don't know what happened. It out on your own.
I was just thinking that. She went to work on it. She's going to work on it and be right back.
Yeah, she's working even harder to make this damn broadcast work.
Clearly, my hard work doesn't mean anything, right?
It's Becky, thank you. Becky writes, always thinking, what is wrong with me? Right? And that's the human condition. And one of the things we do in our education, we work with people who are high achievers, successful people, but who've found themselves at an impasse. Like they can only get to a certain level and then have plateaued and can't figure out what the hell, why am I not getting where I really want to go? And what we've found to be true is that whenever somebody is a high achieving, smart, successful person, and yet they're finding themselves stuck, what's actually going on in the background is some unhealed, unresolved trauma from the past. And at first people go, wait. Either A, no, I haven't really faced anything traumatic. I mean, there are people who've lost their children, the ultimate. People who've been the part of a genocide or something like this. Oh, my thing doesn't count. That's one of the most common things we hear. Or else it's that, oh, it happened so long ago. Like with Evelyn, she was like, well, I mean, maybe there was something that happened 26 years ago, but that shouldn't be impacting me now.
Right.
But what she found is we actually took a look that, yeah, as a matter of fact, it was. But the correlation between something that happened long ago and I just need to work harder today is we find that when there's been some kind of past traumatic event, and I mean, not empirically traumatic, but traumatic to you at the time, when there's been one of those events, it leaves us feeling like I can't rely on others. I have to do it myself. That will prove my worth. Something like that. So, Julie, I really wanted to speak to your point there because I think that's a very common thing that happens with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Those traumatic events of the past just exacerbate, this feeling of like failure and that I can't just get on top and I've got to get on top. And the other thing I wanted to stack on top of what you had just said, Cheryl, is that a lot of the times it's like, these traumatic events, people look at that as like, oh, that happened. But yeah, I got that handled.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like effectively, trying to manage life, right? Just help manage it, right? I'll just shove that thing down.
Yeah,
Right.
I need to and if there is any reverberation in the present, I have to do that myself. I need to figure it out myself. But again, it's all like veiled from our view. It's happening below the level of conscious awareness.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the things our clients are savvy enough to realize is if they keep doing things the same way, including working harder, they're going to have what? Exactly the same freaking result. They're going to stay exactly where they are. So what does make the difference? Well, here's what we found is these calls that we do. These calls where these breakthrough sessions, and they're called that for a reason, because we really help you break through the things that are keeping you stuck. So we'd love to offer you one. You can hop on the phone with us. We'll go somewhere between 60 and 90 minutes. I mean, we take a deep dive here and we'll get to the heart of what's not working. And then we'll really look at where you want to go. And we do these calls for a couple of reasons. One, because it's definitely our purpose in life. We love to give back to people. And also we realize that once you've gotten clear on where you want to go, and where you're really stuck now, you may want our help to get to the other side. And if it's a mutual fit, we'll definitely show you how. But if not, we'll see what resources it makes sense for us to steer you toward. So I've dropped a link right here on the screen, and it's CherylHunter.com/schedule to get on the phone with one of us. And here's the thing. We've got decades of coaching experience. And we've been doing this truly decades. And we, in speaking with 150 people a month, we've heard it all, we've seen it all. And oftentimes when people come to the calls, they're like, well, I'm a tough case. You would never seen anything like this. But we have. And more importantly, we know how to get to the other side. So when you get to a point where you're clear that working harder isn't getting you the intended result that you want, then it's time to hop on the phone with us. All right. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks for tuning in today. And we will look forward to answering your questions in future Facebook Lives as well. So do, just drop us a comment or, reach out via email or messenger or right here in the group. Just let us know what topics you'd like us to talk about next time. What are some of the most vexing issues you have? What are the ways that you stay stuck? All righty. Great to be with you today.
Thanks.
On behalf of us here at the Hunter Group, we thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for being here. Bye.